So I wanted to share some thoughts. I've been thinking a lot about um, startups and or departments that like where you have an incubator and you're trying to start something new within a larger organization and really do something different. So within a startup or an innovative department in an organization or the launch of a new product, there's a maverick, right? There's that person, most likely a founder who's been driving the success. They're what propels the organization into the future. So, what happens when they leave? Well, oftentimes there's a giant hole left in their place. On a large scale, we've seen like voids left by Steve Jobs at Apple or Howard Schultz at Starbucks. Well, people are bound to move on from the organization for one reason or another. So, how do you lessen the void left by these entrepreneur types? So here are my thoughts. First, before they leave, ensure there are processes put in place. Entrepreneurs often do a lot of things for themselves, right? They pick themselves up by the bootstraps and they just muscle through everything. It's important that they create a team that can be delegated to. As the company scales, the leader should be passing off more and more so the team is owning it collectively. Get it out of the leader's head and into documentation, IP, policies, and procedures, etc. Take that time to invest in the foundation of your organization. Whether the leader should be doing it so they can eventually sell it, or if we're talking about a company that has a startup or an incubator, they should be ensuring that that type of rigor is put in place and investing the money to do that. So if the leader doesn't leave, well, all of this activity in this preparation and this foundation is going to give them more time to lead and accelerate success. But if they do leave, then the team isn't scrambling trying to figure out how to pick up the bag. So the founder leaves. Now what? So the first advice I have is don't rush into just getting someone else in that role, or when someone else is put in, that new leader shouldn't be drastically changing the department or company right away. If the organization or the product was headed in the right trajectory before the founder left, it's important for the new leader to take time to understand the vision and the history. So first they should be asking, so where are we going? What was the founder's vision for this organization? Where were they seeing it 5 years from now? And why did he or she find that vision to be compelling? Like why was that? What was the motivator? What were the merits? What were the numbers behind it? Next, why are things done the way they were done, or why were decisions made along the way? Oftentimes, we don't like to waste time looking at the past and understanding how we got here. We're so focused on where we're headed that we're just like, oh, there's the target, let's go, without realizing why structures or decisions were put in place. So, a client that I had a startup division and the founder left. And enough time wasn't spent understanding why decisions were made and what the strategic intent was. The new leader began making changes and burning partner relationships to the point they put themselves in a place where they're struggling to sell at scale and they can't deliver on what has already been sold. This is true for products as well. Why were certain materials selected? Why was the target market picked? Why did we make these choices? And so until the new leader can put themselves in the founder's shoes, they really don't have an understanding of what they are taking over and leading, and therefore aren't in a position to make changes without the risk of adverse consequences. Finally, the new leader shouldn't make radical changes right away. So, what are the incremental improvements? I love what Jim Collins says about shooting bullets, not cannonballs. So, test things at a small scale through shooting bullets, right? And once you know you have the right target, then shoot the cannonball. The founder is a unique individual, and there are many tasks they do that can be picked up by someone else, but there's oftentimes a special something that is hard to replicate. Understand what value the person was bringing to the table. What differentiates them from other leaders? What are they doing that no one else on the team can currently do? This could be their ability to build key relationships, to guide teams to do things they didn't know they were capable of. It could be their creativity or innovation, or their ability to strategically connect the dots in ways that other people can't. So, what is that individual's secret sauce? When filling the void that's left by them, that is where you need to start. Everything else can be picked up by a good team, but ensuring you don't lose the secret sauce is what's going to ensure the organization, department's, or product's ongoing success. There's a desperation that comes when a key resource leaves an organization. Leaders panic and want to fill the gap. But often they don't do what I just mentioned, which is truly understand what the gap is. The gap isn't a title or a basic job description, and putting in someone who doesn't fill the void will be detrimental. Again, looking at the declines of companies like Apple's and Starbucks had in the periods right after their founders left, those declines were a direct result of not filling the gap, but filling the role. Take your time and find the right person. And until you do, just empower the team and then have someone help maintain status quo. Don't make any radical changes until you have found your next maverick.